We are live. We are live. A very good morning. A very good morning to our friend from Italy. Ciao. Ciao and
Oh, ciao.
Hi,
ciao.
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 And a very good evening for those who are watching in the Southeast Asia region in Kuala Lumpur or Singapore. The time is 11 a.m. In Italy, and the time is 5 p.m. in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore. And we are live now with our friend from Italy in this COVID-19 law series organized by the China ASEAN Legal Research, China ASEAN Legal Cooperation Center, in short, the CALCC. And as usual, we will wait for about 2-3 minutes for our friends who are joining us. And for those who are watching us live now, yes, please help us to share this to as many people as you could. And we are live now on the Facebook page of CALCC. And we are seeing more and more friends. I think for those who are just join us, welcome, welcome to our show. And please send us a comment or remark and say hello to our friends online and doing a live here. To our two speakers, I think just bear with us, just be patient for a little while, and while we are getting more people and to join us.
You're going to ask me how to make.
So this one is usually the usual thing
You're going
that
to ask me.
in about 2 to 3 minutes, and I think more of our friends will be joining us. So let me just check the page of CALCC, then. And I will get back to everybody shortly. Um, are you able to hear me clearly, both of you? You are, right?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. All
Perfectly.
right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So we are about 3 minutes from the starting of this session. So we shall start. I think first of all, thank you so much to Mr. Silvano Lorusso. Um, he is based in Milan and in Italy. Say hello and ciao to everybody. Hi, hi,
Ciao.
ciao.
Ciao to everybody.
All right, and we have Miss Go Siang Ju, currently based in Kuala Lumpur. Can you say hello to everybody?
Ciao.
Hi, hi, hi.
Hello.
All right, so this is another session of the COVID-19 law series where we invite our good friends from around the world, the lawyers, the legal practitioners, and the legal experts around the world to speak to us about their situation in their respective countries. And this is also another good time for us to say hi to our friends and see how are they doing. So the format is not meant to be too formal, like a law conference but rather is really a chat about the opinion, the views, and more importantly, the news on the ground. And that's our aim of having this series. And so far, we have done about more than 10 sessions already. And speaking to our friends, we started with Singapore, and we had Indonesia, and we have Laos, and we have Spain earlier. And today we are very, very honored to be able to invite our good friend from Milan to speak to all of you. So I think for a start, I would like Siangju to say hello to our viewers and introduce yourself, what you do, where you're based currently.
Hi, everyone. Good evening to all the Malaysians. I'm a practicing lawyer based in the capital city of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. And myself, my main area of practice is companies law and real estate matters. I am also the branding and marketing director of CALCC.
All right. And for Mr. Silvano, um, I was made to understand that he has a very interesting background, and Siangju would like to make an
Yes,
introduction. Yes, Siangju,
yes. If I may, I would like to introduce my friend here, Silvano.
sure.
Silvano is, of course, a practicing lawyer from Italy. He is a founding member of the law firm BLB Studio Legal, founded in year 2008. The law firm is located in the city of Milan and Rome, and they have both the mainland China desk and also the USA desk as well. Mr. Silvano, he has gained experience in international M&A transactions and investments, restructuring operations, composition with creditors and bankruptcy, ordinary and arbitration, judicial procedures, energy law, management of judicial and extrajudicial disputes in the field of consumer law, protection of intellectual property and advertising law, management of disputes and proceedings on the subject for the protection of competition with ordinary judicial authority, the Antitrust Authority, and the Institute of Advertising Self-Regulation, IAP, in relation to activities carried out in relation to retail, investment banks, investment funds, and financial intermediation companies. So his firm, the BLB Studio Legal, is also the host for the Global Legal Hackathon for year 2020 in Italy. It was supposed to be held in March 2020, but I'm not sure whether it's held as scheduled or postponed. Maybe you'll let us know later. So BLB Legal Law Firm has always also paid close attention to the field of new technologies. This is their area. In addition to the extensive expertise in the startup sector, BLB Law Firm was among the first law firms to embrace the phenomenon of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in all their potential applications, and specifically relating to legal issues. Recognizing the great potential these new technologies represent for the legal field, BLB Law Firm has also become a protagonist in the Italian legal tech panorama. So BLB has established a fruitful partnership with the European Legal Technology Association, with whom Silvano is an ambassador of, and BLB has become its Italian ambassador. So welcome, Silvano, and thank you for agreeing to speak in this session.
Wow, that's
Oh, thank you.
fantastic.
This is a great presentation. It's too much for me.
I think
And
this is something that the
say
audience
all
should
the
know.
thing. You say all the thing. I can say arrivederci, goodbye. Okay, thank you. No, thank you so much for your presentation. Yeah. Great introduction.
That's a fantastic introduction. I think for the viewers watching us, we are very very happy to have Mr. Silvano to be able to join us today, because hearing from the very detailed introduction from Siangju just now, why I actually let her do the job, because it's really really long, and it's fantastic, right? All right. So now we'd like to take some time to acknowledge all our viewers online. Thank you for joining us again. We see a lot of good friends joining us online now. If I may, I will put out some of the comments that is sent in by the viewers. First, Alessandro
Hi, Alessandro.
Benedetti. Hi, everybody.
Alessandro is also one of the founding partners of BLB Law Firm. He's
Great.
partner for Silvano.
Ciao,
Hi.
Alessandro.
Ciao.
Alessandro. Then yes, he said hi, go. All right.
Hello.
And hi. Then go say hi back. Yes. Right. We have Vanessa go, another go. I say hello. Yes. And we have Lillian Champolin Montclair. Say hi. Hello. Hi. Good to see you here. And we have Marcus, who says Miss Go is so pretty. Okay,
Wow,
so
thank you.
great to
We
have
know.
all. Yeah, great to have all our friends here. So Siang has introduced herself, I think, and also introduced Mr. Silvano. My name is Tay. Tay is a surname, and my given name is Yong. I'm the Vice President for the China ASEAN Legal Cooperation Center, in short, the CALCC, which is the organizer for this series of talk. And for those who just join us, this is a series of talk where we invite our friends and from around the world to speak to us about the situation in their respective country, and also doing some exchange of ideas. And more importantly, I think we are also learning from each other during this COVID-19 pandemic that we are experiencing now. All right. So Siangju, I heard that you
Yes.
want to share a video.
Yeah, before we start, before
Yeah.
Silvano starts telling us what's the situation in Italy, what we know from this part of the world at the very beginning of the pandemic is this. I have to show you this video. Just one moment. Okay, yeah, wait. Okay, you might not be able to hear very clearly, but yeah. This is what we see from Malaysia, the news that, Italians are singing to cope with the coronavirus pandemic, and they sing from their balcony, some of them using guitars. Yeah, I think this is just a lovely picture.
Yes.
Confined to their homes in sign of encouragement. Yeah, so I'll just stop here. Actually, the reason I'm sharing this is because I think these high-spirited Italian, they have also inspired some of the want-to-be singers in Malaysia. After that, after what happened in Italy, actually Malaysians actually emulate them, and we have Malaysians singing in our condominium, with not with guitar, not with the kitchen utensils and tools, but with the karaoke sets, and with the amplifier systems. So I find this very very inspiring from the Italian themselves. So, and apart from this, the world has also seen Andrea Bocelli sings in the empty Duomo in Milano Cathedral some time back. Yeah. So I just want to know how important is music and singing culture in Italy?
Oh, Sanjo, you know that for us, the music and art is very important.
Okay.
And this is a way to live, as a way um, to talk with and to talk with other people, and also with friends. Very very important for us. In this particular situation, art and music were very important because it's a sort of positive feedback from the Italian population, from the Italian country, in order to react to this, to face this strange and very hard situation we are living in during these days.
Okay.
So it's very important, but it's just a way to have relationship with the other people, with other person in front of us, in front of our condominium, in front of our flats. But I can say this, that this is not the exact way to describe what is now Italy and what the Italian people are doing in order to fight this virus.
Okay.
Because we have to face this virus in a more serious way, way.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Okay, so for the audience who is watching here, would you? We have had an Italian session earlier before, and some of our audience was actually quite disappointed that they left a message there, and we really hope to hear from Italian, how your singing. So would you be so kind to, before the end of the session, and just sing for us a sentence or two to light up our audience in Malaysia and to show our Malaysian audience.
I'll take it as a yes before the end of the session, provided that a lot of interaction from the viewers, right?
Yeah, so for the audience in Malaysia,
okay, we'll do.
Yes,
okay.
thank you. So for the audience in Malaysia, so if you want to listen to that, so stay tuned until the very end.
Yes, and please put it say hello, and or say I want to hear Mr. Silvano to sing, and so we'll pick up the comments. Yes, I think we have new comments coming in, and our friends Cindy says hi, and we have a friend Margaret Ong. Hi Margaret, good afternoon. Good afternoon everybody. And Vanessa says yes. I think this yes is for the
This
singing.
is for
Yeah,
the song. Yeah.
And yes, singing please. Yeah. So I think we got a deal. Now, okay. Now looking at the place where Mr. Silvano is based, Milan. When we hear about Milan, we hear about the football team. We hear about luxury hotels, right? So back home, how is the situation in your country, and also in particular the situation in Milan?
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you, Yute, Sangjo, and the Cooperation Center, because this is a great opportunity to talk to everybody about us, about the situation in Italy, and is, as correctly said, it is an opportunity to exchange experience and to do the best through our respective countries in order to fight in the right way the virus. The situation in Italy is the following. We live in Milan. Milan is in Lombardy. Lombardy is probably the most important country in a region in Italy, because we have a lot of cases, a lot of contagious numbers. In general, Italy is and was the first European country for the coronavirus emergency. The official civil protection data attest to the flattening of the curve of the contagious. The spread of the virus is slowing down now. The numbers tell us that today Italy is the second or the third country in the world by number of total cases, probably after United States of America and Spain, and the second country in the world by number of deaths. So the Italian model to contain the measure containment measures are similar to the Chinese. So from the closure of individual municipalities to the total lockdown on March the 10th, the last March the 10th. So the Italy is entirely declared a red area. But we have also measures based on principle of adequacy and proportionality, progressive closings. So, for example, prohibition of people moving with public transports other than in which they are located, except for proven work needs, absolute urgency of health reason, and closure of all non-essential or strategic commercial activities. Open only grocery stores, pharmacies, shops of basic commodities, essential services. And we are now entering in the phase 2 because of the flattening of the curve. So starting from the May the 3rd, we have to progressively reopening some categories of activities important activities and strategic activities for the Italian people and for the Italian economics. So this is the situation. Total lockdown, but end of the phase 1, and we are entering in the phase 2.
Right. And what do you see are the impact on the businesses in your country?
As you correctly said before, Italy and Milan, in particular Lombardy, it's heart of Europe for what concern fashion, luxury, luxury goods, also mechanical, robotics, and technology in general. So it's a big power. The Lombardy power and the Milan power around Europe and around the world. Now we have not so good numbers to show you, because also in Italy, and probably in particular in Italy because of the large number of cases, we have something like 76 of the companies that declared a negative impact starting from the first hours. And effects that almost our company consider high, and that will affect the SMEs as well as large companies and multinational in equal measure, I can say. The outlook for domestic demand for products and services at the national level is unfavorable, expected drop at least 10%, for example. The impact on the export, probably 40, we are reading about 43% of the companies report observing negative repercussion, especially for SMEs. Also, reduction of the advertising investments, and this is particularly negative because the advertising investment it is not correct to reduce this advertising investment, because in particular in this critical situation, the companies should have the opportunity, should introduce new ways to do marketing, advertising, and media spending in order to prepare the companies to be ready when the phase 2 and phase 3 will commence. This is the reason also of this large number for the introduction in Italy massively of the agile work, for example. We can say that the 75% of the Italian companies now introduce the smart working. So massively. Only a minority implemented it only marginally and a limited way to some areas, figures, and function. But you have a large number of people working, staying at home. So agile work, and this could be also a reason, an opportunity in terms of efficiency and optimal management of the work activity, for example.
It has been, Silvano, it has been about a month or two since the pandemic and since the lockdown. Is there any estimate as to when the government of Italy will relax the lockdown rules so as to let these companies and employees and people go back to their normal life, to start working, start production again?
Yes, we are hearing during this day, the last days, informations and orders, public orders with the public ministerial decree in order to start the phase 2, and the phase 2 will begin on Monday, I think, on Monday, May 3. With the reopening of some activities involving, I think, 3 million of people, 3 million workers around Italy. So it's a huge number of workers considering the situation. This is also a risk for us because this reopening could be strictly connected with the new curve of contagious, new contagious. But this is a risk. We are ready to impact it, to face this risk. Also, in particular, from the sanitary point of view, because we are ready to have this new potential impact. But it's very important to follow the protocol and to follow all the rules the government gave us in order to impact this situation.
I see.
Yeah. But we are trying, and we will in the next weeks. I think until June the 2nd. These reopening activities. I think that, for example, for clubs, bar, and restaurants, we have the last moment, the last step, probably in June for the reopening.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So for those who just join us, welcome. We have more viewers now joining us live. Then there is Ricky says that sing for Italy. Yeah. So we haven't forgotten about the promise to sing at the end. So we were having this discussion just now at the beginning. Say, if it's going to be an interactive session, then Mrs. Silvano is going to sing for us. So I see more friends joining us, watching us. Margaret and Adrian Kok. Hello, hi, Shane, no, Amalina, Justin Lim, Dato Raju. There are a lot of friends who just join us. If you have any feedback, comments, or even questions for our guests from Milan, Italy, that is having a live session today, please feel free to drop a comment and on the Facebook. We'll try to pick it up and have it answer, right? So moving on to the impact on businesses, and that is a very important and interesting question. And important question is that when businesses are forced to shut and not able to operate during the lockdown, and are the businesses having this obligation to pay salary in terms of human resource management, the salary to the staff? So how's the condition? What are the position that is taken by Italy in this respect?
Oh yes, companies and the HR departments are facing and managing in these days business problems and changes never faced before related to human resources. So it's a great news also for HR departments. About work, about employing salaries, home working, agile work, and so on. For what concerns the working salaries, given the enormous difficulty in paying employees, employers were able to activate the so-called Salaries Guarantee Fund, the CIG in Italy. For employees, the government provided for social safety nets paid on a regional basis equal to 80% of the total remuneration for 9 weeks. Renewed
85%.
Yes,
85%.
80%.
80%. Okay.
80% of the total remuneration for 9 weeks. And yesterday, today in the night, we had the renewal of this measure. So we have other 9 weeks of salaries guaranteed fund for the employees. And also we have a 600 euro bonus for professional, for seasonal workers, by the Italian Social Security institution, and sometimes by the Social Security funds of professional orders also.
Okay.
This is a monetary salary measure, direct salary
Yeah.
measure. But for example, in order to work at home and to stop working during this period, we can also have holidays, permits, and paid leave also. So, for example, the using of the previous holidays, including those of the last year not yet used. So, in this sense, the provision contained in the national collective agreements of the sector apply, which generally place a limit on the discretion of the employer, obliging him to allow to use holidays not enjoyed by worker in the year of maturity for indifferent service needs within the first half of the following year. Or other example, there are, for example, the interruption of the bankruptcy procedures, the temporary prohibition for the dismissal for economic reason for 2 months. So there are a lot of measures in the labor law in order to impact and to face this strange and incredible situation.
All right. And this temporary measures for bankruptcy, you say is 2 months, right?
Yes, 2 months. Yes, 2
Okay.
months. But we are waiting for the next decrees and for the next decision by the government and the parliament.
I see. I see. Is there any effort to increase the threshold for bankruptcy or winding up?
To increase, there is not a legislative provision
Right.
on the tables right now, but I don't know exactly. I don't
All
know
right.
exactly
Okay.
if
Right.
this threshold will get up.
Now, how about the rental payments for their business
Mm,
premises? Do they
mm,
need to continue to pay, or is that a
yeah.
moratorium for the rental payments?
No, there is not a moratorium. There is not a stop for the obligation to pay the rental, but for particular situation. So the government is suggesting all the people to negotiate a best solution in order to avoid very negative consequences for the two parts of the obligation in case of commercial location. But for the non-commercial leases and for commercial leases, there is a possibility of an agreement with the owner for this temporary contractual suspension, but is a negotiation, private negotiation. But in the absence of this agreement, the preferred solution for entrepreneurs and commercial leases seems to be because the legislation and the decision are changing day by day. The preferred solution is to pay the fee by the tenant also for the months of inactivities in order to use a sort of tax credit in the future, in the next year, as a sort of reimburse of these fees. Okay, but there are not clear regulation about the opportunity to stop the payment or to get some reimburse by the locator and or by the tenants. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
in Malaysia, we have for this tenancy issues, we have tax credits as well but that is only for business premises. And on top of that, one very peculiar situation is that the term force majeure has come up a lot in the doctrine of frustration. has come up a lot. Not only for the tenancy issues, it also it's in pertaining to the employment contract, because many employer is trying to rely on if there is such force majeure clause in the contract, trying to avoid paying. And because if it is something that both stopping one party from performing the obligations, then they are trying to avoid paying as well. So the force majeure, the doctrine of frustrations, and these are the two terms that a lot of the layman in Malaysia, suddenly they are so legally aware of all these type of things.
Yes, Sanjo, this situation about the force majeure interpretation clauses is very important. We have a lot of cases on our table.
Yes.
Not just for the location, the commercial or non-commercial location, but also for every kind of contract between.
Right?
Yes, because this is the best example, the force majeure. So we are discussing about the insertion in the past contract of the force majeure clauses, and also to have an interpretation, the correct interpretation of force majeure clauses that normally we put in the contract, not imagining the real heavy of this clause. But nowadays it's very important to have this kind of clauses. This kind of clauses.
All right. Let's see some other comments coming in by our viewers. Dato Ricky, I think we showed this Sing for Italy, but why do I show this is next one. Siang must sing together too.
You must be kidding.
I know this man.
Yeah, you met him before, yes.
So, right. What facial mask do you use? I shall tell you the secret later. What kind of facial mask? Right. Hi, Ricky. How are you doing? I think these are interactive comments on the line. And we have Chong Ting Fai is our friend from Singapore. Okay. Viva la Italia. It means something important in
Go
Italy.
Italy. Go Italy.
Yeah. That's right. All right. So now moving on to the next issue, that I would like to ask Silvano. It's whether your country, do you have any specific COVID-19 law to deal with this pandemic, or is it the situation where different types of legislation is regulating different types of scenarios? Yeah, could you run us through for the legal position in Italy?
Yeah. Yes. In Italy, we have the issuing of numerous prime ministerial decrees. Also orders of ministers, different ministers involved in this coronavirus emergency, and also emergency decrees. We have also civil protection orders, and lastly, the orders of the presidents, of the governors of the region, because we have 20 regions in Italy with different. It's not a federal country, but we have region with particular powers and constitutionally with a constitutional recognition. So we have different kind of legislation and orders. Considering the timing in which we need these decrees, it's impossible to have day by day parliamentary answer to this crisis and to this emergency. So we assisted in the first phase of this emergency, of this numerous, really numerous ministerial decrees, orders, civil protection, region orders. But now all the people in Italy are saying that it's better to return to the parliament and to have more time in order to choose the right thing and to get the right decision for our country. You have also to consider that Italy is an important part of the European Union, and so at the European Union level, we are discussing about the possibilities we have to face this emergency, in particular from the economic point of view, from the financial point of view. So we have the regional legislation, we have the national legislation, and we are covered by a legislation at European level, European level. And it's not so easy to understand day by day which is the real and exact situation. But we have a lot of piece of our power involved in this kind of matter.
Okay.
Right. Now we see that the situation in the global pandemic of this COVID-19. I would like to seek your view about the legal, the future of the legal industry, because during the introduction that was we had earlier in this session, you mentioned, I think it was mentioned that about your firm does a lot of technology work. So do you see what do you see about this future of this legal industry, as well as the how does technology play a part into this the scenario?
Oh, this is an important question for me. Also because I am very interested to the future of the legal industry, of my profession, our profession, because it's a key point, not just for the profession, but for the countries, for the countries in general. And for sure that the pandemic is accelerating digitalization at the global level, forcing companies to review and rethink their strategies to size the new markets opportunity and the new digital customer segments. So also in the past, our profession was changing, and a lot of different technological and approach solution we have also in the past this kind of solution. But for the future, we have to accelerate this approach. For Italy, this is, for example, an unprecedented opportunity, and one of the also imperative will be to, for example, to reconfigure services, methodologies, explore new partnership, new markets, a new ecosystem. An example, the smart working, the home working, as an ordinary way of performing work in a revolution for Italy, is a revolution for Italy, but certainly can be an opportunity to modify some aspects that probably immobilize modernization process in the work. For example, excessive bureaucracy, excessive formalization of some process. For sure, this will have a positive impact in terms of productivity and also reduction the business costs. I think that the future of the legal industry is certainly invest in legal tech, invest in this particular sector. This is the answer of the technicians, of the developers, and the lawyers together this situation. So invest in legal tech for solution to more profitable day-to-day processes, more ready to face the challenges that the constantly evolving markets such as the legal one impose. So understanding the value created by technology, created practical knowledge on the implementation of these solutions, explore possibility for our profession, for example, of artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, deep learning, the use of the chatbots, for example, in order to simplify and to optimize the phases and activities and require more time consuming. For example, the drafting of contracts, negotiation of the contracts, and increase also awareness of technology and solutions and processes supported by software in the legal market. Sanjo said before that I am ambassador of the ELTA Europe. This is the European Legal Tech Association. At the European level, we do hard work in order to create new opportunities for new types of professional legal profession.
Okay. So Silvano, the Global Legal Hackathon, was it held as scheduled in March in Italy for those?
Yes, we were host of this important global legal hackathon. This is the third year we organized for Italy this hackathon at a global level, because last year participated I think 48 countries in the world. And we hosted.
Probably you explain to our audience what is this global legal hackathon. Yes,
the global legal hackathon is an hackathon. The hackathon is a sort of marathon of developers in order to answer to specific challenges that we have in our work. We have to imagine that the legal tech, and so the global legal hackathon is not just focused on the lawyers' professions, but also, for example, the legal tech is important for notary publics, for public administration, for the bureaucracy, for the public registry of company registry. A lot of services could be treated, could be focused on these legal tech field. So it's very important. So the legal hackathon is a sort of marathon, it's sort of challenge between a lot of developers in order to have new solutions. Normally, these hackathons are organized in 2 or 3 days, night and day, in order to have the best result in a short time, to be more and better developed after the hackathon. But it's a sort of struggling of the developers and legal participants in order to obtain some results. This year, it was impossible to organize a physical hackathon in the different countries. but we had the opportunity to participate and to support the global legal hackathon at the global level with specific challenges regarding the coronavirus. So we have during these days, during these weeks, the opportunity to participate, to take part of a team in order to work for one or more of these challenges. So we have a remote version, a remote global legal hackathon this year.
I see. Okay, so with this, as you said, the future of the legal industry rests a lot on our legal tech. So did the Italy government, or do they have any plan to, or even the ELTA, are they going to fund the research or to promote, to help the legal firms in the European country or in Italy to set up this or to embrace these legal tech into their practices?
Yes, we have public needs. We have public requests, but also request about the people in order to have solution in legal tech. For example, the proceedings in Italy. We have a telematic process starting from I think 10 years ago, but also the telematic proceedings is now available, and we can, for example, file our documents, file our draft, our documents to the courts, and have the decision filed in our email, for example, in our console, in our software. And every lawyer is connected with the courts in order to do this kind of process. But for example, what about the hearings?
Yes,
we now can celebrate, can have the hearings by person. So we are searching to find a solution for that.
Okay.
There is up to now we have a suspension period for hearings until if I remember well, until May 11. But from May after May 11 to I think the June the 13th, we have the extension of the possibility of carrying out both civil and criminal hearing via video conference and with remote connection, but just within the end of June up to now. But this could be a problem. This could be a problem because, in particular, for example, for the criminal trials, the remote connection reduces the guarantees for the accused in terms of contradictory. Corrodes probably the principle of orality and immediacy of the criminal trials. It poses risks for the data privacy, the confidentiality for the use of commercial program. Also for civil trials, the judge, where possible, are attempting to replace the hearings with deposit of written notes, for example, taking advantage of the electronic civil trial I explained before. And so we have a lot of technological opportunity, but we have a tradition, an important a law tradition in Europe and in Italy in particular. And we have to consider if the application of the technology in this very important field it's a safe, it's the best, it is the best answer for the people now. Okay.
Okay.
This is just for the proceedings, but we have a lot of opportunities to work on legal tech field, for example, in the blockchain,
Yes.
because the blockchain could be an important solution to be sure and to be safe regarding the exchange of goods,
Yes.
exchange of obligation, payment, for automation of the payments, for example, with simple smart contracts, or for example, we are working and we have the developer in our firm. They're working also for blockchain project, and for example, for a important project in order to automate the negotiation, the automated negotiation of the contract.
Okay.
And this is the future. This is really the future.
So at the moment, Italy, do you have digital signature act? Do you recognize digital signature or e-signature at the moment for all contracts?
Yes, we use this digital signature. We have at the European level a regulation regarding this kind of signature. So you have the opportunity to sign, and we have also the electronic mail, a sort of registered electronic mail, and it's very important for the connection between people who have the same registered mails, and also for the public administration, for the government, with the government, and with institutions.
Okay. Just one more question. Just one more question, Dato. Okay, since you have embraced yourself with so much of technologies, I'm just wondering if in Italy or in the European countries, do law firms accept Bitcoins as payment of fees? Is Bitcoin? Yes.
Okay. You have to know that BLB was probably the first law firm in Italy that is accepted Bitcoins, I think 8 years ago.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And we did this in order to better understand this opportunity connected to cryptocurrencies, but also to start a discussion between us and the institution, lawyers, accountants, and public administration, in order to have a real comprehension of these instruments.
Okay.
Right.
Is it common?
So it's possible to use these cryptocurrencies, but we have enormous problem in order to have these cryptocurrencies in our formal balance sheet.
Okay.
So you have to convert these currencies in something different.
Okay.
So
right.
so you're saying that
this is a common problem around the world.
Yeah. All right. I understand.
You're saying that your firm receives the cryptocurrency, and that the issue is how to recognize it in the balance sheet, because perhaps it's a conversion into the real money.
Yes, in real money or in a goods, because you can say, for example, that for me, 10 Bitcoins could be equal to the value of important piece of art, something like this, or not. So there are a lot of discussion about that.
Okay.
But around the world, not just in Italy.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So I would like to ask about the virtual. You say about e-signature. So how about the situation where do you sit down with your clients when you do video conferencing, and where your client sign the signature, and would the lawyer or the attorney would be able to witness the signature via video conferencing? What's your view on this? Is this something that common? Is this something legal in Italy?
It's not so common. It's not so common. You can have two opportunities. You can exchange a PDF signature and
PDF.
a PDF signature. This is the base, the starting point. But you have the obligation to send the original version and to exchange the original version of the same. And we can discuss about the starting point of the execution of this contract, or you can use you can use a token. You can use an OTP, or you can use something like DocuSign
Yeah.
software.
Yes.
You have different opportunities.
Yeah.
And for
Basically,
example, the blockchain
yeah.
will be for sure very important in this for this problem, for this issue, because with the blockchain, if you recognize the person who signs the documents, and you put in the blockchain the signature, you can be sure about the signature. So it's very important.
Yeah, basically the verification of the identity of the person who is signing the signature.
Via
Right.
blockchain, yes.
Yes.
Sure. So we have a few comments from the viewers. Greetings from Singapore. All right, and there is an interesting question by Dato Ricky. Doctors were forced to choose the one with the best survival chances for the ICU. Any legal suits later? What's the view about this in this pandemic, where the frontliners, there's so many patients, they got to choose
So what is
only
the
one.
ICU? Sorry, what is the ICU?
Intense care unit. Intense care unit.
Oh, sure.
So the most serious cases in the hospital.
Yes, I can say that our doctors are doing a lot of work, risky work, and they are doing this work with great generosity. So first of all, I want to thank you. This is not important from me, but I want to thank you another time. These guys and these people working a lot and hardly to respond and to answer to this to face this virus emergency. I can say that probably we can have in the future this kind of legal suits, because within yesterday, up to yesterday, we had 153 doctors deaths. So it's a large number if you consider that it's important to have the best protection for this kind of people, this kind of workers. So I can say that we will face also this lawsuit in the future, probably.
Okay.
All right. Any other special questions from Siangju before we go to the singing session?
Oh yeah,
I've not forgotten.
Just to say goodbye.
I was reminded that we will be organizing a legal tech talk, another session just for legal tech. I think it's tentatively is on the 9th of May. So, and we plan to invite speakers from India, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and also from Malaysia to discuss about legal tech. I don't know whether you will be interested. Would you be able to join that session? Yeah,
sure.
Then that would be great. But we will discuss with you the details later. And yeah, from my side, I think no, I have no more questions actually.
Right. So I think the viewers have been very interactive. So I think everybody would like to hear the singing part of it, the part of the culture of Italian. And yes, I would like to invite Silvano
Yes, we
to
would like
perhaps.
to.
No.
Probably a few sentences to greet the audience of Malaysia. Your best
Okay.
song.
So, in order to say goodbye and see you in next future, also in person, you know that the dream of everyone is to
Yes,
fly and to look people and to look monuments, to look trees, green parks.
yeah.
And so I want to say goodbye singing volare, oh, cantare, oh, nel blu dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù con te. Goodbye, everyone.
All
Thank you
right,
so
thank you so
much.
much.
Bravo! Thank you, Silvano, for the very informative session.
Thank you for your invitation.
Right.
Okay,
I think,
you're welcome.
yeah, thank you again, Silvano. I think it has been a great session, understanding from the legal landscape from Milan, from Italy. I think I personally have learned a lot on the situation and also from the discussion we have with Silvano. And I think Xiangju also has been great by prompting a lot of good questions. And I think it has been a great session, right?
Yes.
So for those who are still with us, thank you so much. For the viewers still staying on with us, this is a series of the COVID-19 law where we invite friends and from around the world. Tomorrow 2 p.m. Malaysian time, Kuala Lumpur time, we will be speaking to a lawyer from Korea. So stay tuned with us for tomorrow's session. All right. So with that, I think it was a great singing by Silvano, and thank you again. Thank you. Is it grazie? Uh,
Gra-
Grazie.
grazie,
I
grazie.
want to say to you and to you everybody, see you in Italy and in Milan.
Yes, we will see you again
yes.
soon. All
See
Okay.
right.
you, see you in
Thank you,
Malaysia.
everybody.
See you in
Thank.
Sure,
Malaysia.
sure,
Okay.
sure, sure.
Ciao.
Okay. Bye
Ciao.
bye.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Ciao.
Bye
Ciao. Bye
Bye
bye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks.